Hello, hello, hello. Today we're doing another video about Doctor Who. This time I'll be doing my top 10 favourite Doctor Who episodes with the 11th Doctor, Matt Smith. Well, first of all, I should point out the Day of the Doctor is not going to be on here because it's a multi-Doctor story. If it was, it would probably be around the 9 or 10 mark. Anyway. Number 10 is Asylum of the Daleks. Now, I'm just going to say this from the get-go. I'm not a massive fan of Clara. However, I do like this version of her and the Victorian version we get in The Snowmen. But I just feel this episode is one of the few times when the Daleks are genuinely scary, because they're usually just so sort of generic and funny. But for this one, I think the two main creepy moments are like when Amy starts to see people and then she doesn't realise that they're actually Daleks. You know, it's messing with her mind, and the slow realisation that Oswin is actually a Dalek, which is quite a shocking twist, you know. At number 9 is Closing Time. I mean, I didn't much care for the plot, but it was just such a funny and light-hearted episode. And Craig, he is one of my absolute favourite characters in the show, because he's just, in so many ways, he's just so relatable. It's almost as if, like, you know, someone from the future has, you know, based the character off my future self. But I mean, this episode is just, you know, there are just so many funny moments in it about how, especially with like Alfie or Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All, speaking baby to the Doctor, and the Doctor and Craig have just really good chemistry in it. I just love the sort of the fun setting of like a toy shop. Number 8 is The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe. Well, first of all, brilliant cast. You got Alexander Armstrong, Claire Skinner, Bill Bailey, and Maurice Cole, who actually went to my school. But you know that's not a good enough reason to actually like an episode. But I think it's just a very sort of fairy tale, like a very sort of a mystical episode. Especially like the beginning when the Doctor was like, you know, the caretaker and sort of showing them around the house. I think that was very funny, and I just sort of liked the whole idea of that sort of snowy world. And yeah, obviously it was a very heartwarming ending of how, you know, Madge was worried that, you know, Christmas would be associated with, you know, the death of the children's father. But in the end, he comes back, which was a little bit predictable. But it was just very heartwarming and a very just enjoyable episode. Number 7 is Victory of the Daleks. Now, Churchill, I know recently some controversy has been, you know, put among his name, but he was a very interesting character, and him and Amy had quite good chemistry with him. I also liked, I actually was the only one, I think. I don't know anyone else who actually liked the new Daleks. It was just interesting to see just a different type of Dalek for once, you know. And the fact that the Daleks were originally, it was quite a surprise to see that the Daleks, and they were just like, would you care for some tea? But I just felt that was like really funny, and then the whole ending point of how the Daleks, they escape, but more importantly, they're able to save the man's life. Can't remember his name, but the guy who thought he created the Daleks, they were able to save his life by making him like he was human. Number 6 is The Beast Below. Oh, I kind of like the setting of it, how it's like in England, in London, but also not at the same time. Also, the Smilers were like a wonderfully creepy sort of monster. And towards the end, I think the Doctor does sort of show his true colours towards the end, when, you know, the whole idea of the star whale being killed and we find out like what he's really like. But it is quite happy at the end how everything gets like resolved, and it's just at the beginning the whole mystery of the protest forget sort of thing. Number 5 is Night Terrors. Oh, wonderfully spooky episode. Uh, it was quite a relatable thing though. You're like a child in a bedroom, and you're just like afraid of random things, and then turns out you get the slow realization that Doctor, Amy, and Rory are inside the doll's house, like with all of George's fears. You figure it out, and I just also like the kind of the twist of how George is actually an alien. I was expecting like the peg dolls to be aliens, but no, it's just the boy is an alien. So it's just like it starts off being relatable, but then you suddenly realise, oh, it's something completely different. And I just really like that twist. Number 4, The Lodger. I've said it once, and I'm going to say it again. Craig Owens is one of the best characters because he is just extremely relatable. It's like you kind of feel sorry for him about how you can see why he doesn't like the Doctor, because the Doctor is sort of just taking over like his life and just making it strange. And then you can see why he wants the Doctor to go. But they have like amazing chemistry, and also I love these sort of subplots between Craig and Sophie, which in the end has a happy ending. But the main reason this episode is just very funny. There's just so many just hilarious, light-hearted moments in it. Number 3 is the Pandorica opens / the Big Bang. Now, the first half of it is just the crazy mystery of how suddenly Rory's back, which was just like such a happy moment, especially when Amy remembered him again. There are just so many sort of crazy twists in it, especially like how the devastation from the first half, like the Doctor is trapped inside the Pandorica. You don't know what's inside it, and turns out it's the Doctor is the biggest danger to the universe, and he's just shouting. It's just like, I have to get out. The TARDIS is exploding. I'm the only one who can stop it. But then suddenly the hilariousness of the second half, it just like the Doctor then just talks to Rory. He's like, but you're not in the Pandorica. There are just so many like hilarious moments. It's a very timey-wimey episode. I feel that not that many of the episodes are strictly time based, but this one is just so perfect, and especially the bit of young Amelia is in it as well, and it really just goes to show how much of an amazing character Rory is, guarding Amy for all the 2,000 years. And at the end, I even like the wedding scene. I feel like the Doctor returns. Number 2, The Time of Angels / Flesh and Stone. The return of one of my favourite villains of all time, the Weeping Angels. And this time, it's like it's slightly predictable that all the statues in the maze are actually Weeping Angels, but then the way they realise is just so well executed, and the sort of the spookiness of Angel Bob, of how he dies, but then like, I died, sir, and he's able to and that's how the Weeping Angels are able to communicate. And just like kind of the ending of how he's able to actually trick the Weeping Angels into killing themselves, it was just totally unexpected, and it was just like really cool to watch. And of course, the moment when Amy got a piece of Weeping Angel stuck inside her was and when she had to walk through a forest full of Weeping Angels, that was a tense moment. I mean, some people do say there's lots of plot holes in this when they compare it to Blink, but I mean, I think maybe they're just a slightly different type of Weeping Angel. There's different Daleks, different Cybermen. Why can't there be slightly different types of Weeping Angels? Before I get to number one, here are a couple of honourable mentions. Well, five honourable mentions: The Vampires of Venice, A Christmas Carol, Dinosaurs on a Spaceship, The Snowmen, The Bells of St. John. And the number one best Doctor Who episode with the 11th Doctor is The 11th Hour. I mean, this episode is a very timey-wimey episode, and it really just defined the 11th Doctor. You know, some people were kind of cynical after the end of time when, they were sad to see David Tennant go. But this episode just really, really made up for it. He really showed he is the Doctor. It started off, it was very sort of funny with the whole fish fingers and custard thing with young Amelia, who is, an amazing character. It's quite relatable because, I was only about, I'm roughly the same age as the actor who plays young Amelia. But it's just very sort of fairy tale, like at the start, and with the whole cracking the wall thing. But then suddenly there's like a mistake goes on with the Doctor, and then suddenly he realizes that that policewoman who chains him to the radiator is in fact Amelia. And then he just really, then the rest of it is just so sort of, it's such a fun episode about how he's got a certain time limit to save the world, and this is kind of the episode that everyone thinks of when you say the 11th Doctor, and that's it really. Bye bye.